Garuda is a frame that I haven't seen being recommended to newer players pretty much ever, actually. I hear her get mentioned as a very fantastic frame, but when it comes to recommending a frame to new players, they recommend Revenant, they recommend Noko, they recommend Caliban, or Daggett, Frost, Hydra. There's a list, and it goes on and on. Garuda does not make that list at all. She's nowhere on the bracket. And the reason for that is simple. I wouldn't say she's super convoluted, but she has a steep learning curve and a playstyle that newer players just aren't usually accustomed to. Now, in this video, I'm going to be explaining the expectations for Garuda, what you should expect from her, what kind of player would like her, and what her playstyle usually is. So, the first thing I'm going to mention real quick is that she rewards aggression, ability casting, and constant active decision making. She's not something you can just hop on, turn your brain off, and walk around in like Revenant and pretty much any of the other frames I mentioned. What you need to do for her is constantly be casting your abilities and also positioning, because her third ability, a main staple for her, giving her back her energy in trade of her health. You give 50% health, you get 40% energy, it clears your status effects. It's a very good ability, but you have to be aware of your position, where you are, everything that's going on around you, because taking away half your health instantly is almost a death sentence in most gameplay. But right afterwards, if you take your 3, you can immediately press 2 to use Blood Altar, and you'll gain your health back. This has a nice radius. This works for you and your teammates, and if they're all within the same radius, you'll gain your health back quick as hell, allowing you to constantly cast this if you want. I would recommend it, but you can't. Now, that is why it's a bit aggressive that you have to play, because you have to cast your 3 for energy and then your 2 to instantly heal. But beyond that, her survivability isn't the best. Her first ability, you have to pounce on an enemy to get your mirror up. This is your survivability ability in most cases. Now, what this does is enemies that are shooting at you just can't hit you. You can still be hit by AoE attacks and such like that, but if they're in front of you in the direction you're facing, then they can't hit you. But you have to be facing the enemies. If they're to your left or right, top, bottom, behind you, you can die quickly. Now, the Dread Mirror has a little bit of invulnerability time when casting it. This allows you to pounce on enemies multiple times if you want, which can save your skin, but it still doesn't change the fact that her survivability just simply is not the best. Now, the way to up her survivability is simple. You can either put on Dread Ward. I wouldn't recommend this form of survivability, but you can do it. Dread Ward, you become unkillable when you rip apart an enemy with Dread Mirror. This means you have to be aware of the enemy's health, you have to be aware of your own health, you have to be aware of the enemies around you. It takes a lot, but you can do it. If you kill an enemy by ripping them apart, you become invulnerable for 8 seconds. That means in most cases, you're going to constantly keep having to pounce on enemies, make sure they're just about one shot. So when your invulnerability period time is almost up, you can hit them with it and re-up that shit. The better choice is simply shield gating. I know a lot of players don't like shield gating, but with her, it's super simple. Not as simple as Hildren, but she got it going for her. Now, shield gating, you need a mod like Brief Respite. Brief Respite, energy to shields. Very simple. This works a lot better if you put on Catalyzing Shield for full shield gate immunity duration. Got that 1.33 seconds. Very nice. But it reduces your max shields. It's not too big of a deal, but some players might not like it. You could also put on Arcane Aegis for extra shield recharge rate. And then the next thing you need for her is very simple. Her 4th ability augment mod, Blending Talons. The reason you want this is because it does a radial attack around you and it builds combo quicker. This is only really for quality of life. Because it's a radial around you, you can just quickly tap it and shield gate off of that. It's the easiest ability she can shield gate with. So instead of double tapping it, you can just tap it once. That's the quality of life aspect of it. And though it does mention that it's a 9-meter AoE around you, you can still hold it for the full charge if you wanted to get the full 60 meters. Now, the next thing I'm going to focus on is just how to play her really quickly. I already mentioned that the wombo combo you should expect is Bloodletting then Blood Altar. And then after that is Dread Mirror. You get a little bit of invulnerability time from this. Don't rely on it for survivability, but it does keep you alive a little bit longer. The main goal for casting Dread Mirror over and over again is to build up the damage up at the top of the Dread Mirror. As you can see, it's 944,000 right now. From here, you can go ahead and cast Seeking Talons. The enemies that are affected by Seeking Talons, if you cold Dread Mirror, toss it at them, they will die pretty much instantly, because Seeking Talons does slash proc, which goes through their armor and shields and attacks their health outright. Essentially, you can just think of Seeking Talents as your primer and Dread Mirror as your nuke. You don't have to rely on weapons at all. As you can see though, it would be pretty aggressive gameplay. You're gonna have to constantly be casting your first ability, your second, third ability, your fourth ability. You just have to constantly be casting abilities. Now, with the negative of being super highly active, she does come with self-sufficiency. She generates her own energy, health, dealing damage, and survivability to some extent, but it does come with extensive resource management. You have to constantly manage your health, energy, and damage output. Otherwise, you could just outright die. It's kind of sad. So play Garuda if you like highly active frames such as Gauss, Harrow, Sevagoth, but you should definitely avoid her if you prefer frames like Inaros or Wukong, because both of those are pretty relaxed frames. If you prefer a relaxed Warframe that can tank with ease and even nuke to some extent, but if you want a relaxing frame, she is definitely not for you. There's nothing really relaxing about her gameplay. I think she's an amazing frame. I think she's fantastic. She's just not really set and forget. She's not a weapon platform frame at all. She's ability nuker. And that's pretty much just about it. I'd say she's for players that enjoy aggressive gameplay, want self-sufficient gameplay that can, carry them in solo play, and just like vampire aesthetic. Because I'm not gonna lie, Blood Altar, Bloodletting, Talons, Dread, she's a vampire. She's straight up a vampire. And so with that being said, that's pretty much just about it. Let me know what you think about Garuda, whether you want to try her out, whether you've played her and hate her, whether you played her and love her. I really want to know, because I think she is actually a pretty divisive Warframe in that regard, because there are players that just straight up love her, and then I've met people that outright hate her for everything she is. So with that being said, that's just about it. Until next time.